Hi and welcome back to Kingsclear. So some of you may recall from the July update I was desperately awaiting a new arrival. Unfortunately it didn't arrive in time. It arrived today and as you can see it's in front of you now. So this is the all new tooled Bachmann 08. This one is actually the sound fitted deluxe model, so this is the one that has the automatic uncoupling. I've tried it and it's really good. There's a couple of flaws with it because it only works with certain couplers, but apart from that it's brilliant, really good. There is obviously a couple of concerns that I have in the fact that a lot of my rolling stock has got the magnetic hunt couplers, but again you can work around that. But in regards of the actual Loco itself, absolutely spot on. In this video I will go through some of the sound functions. As I say, there's quite a few. I'm not going to go through all of them, just the main ones that you'll use most of the time. Also I'll go through the lighting configurations. There are a few, the running lights, tail lights for example, but also shunting lights. We'll also show you a quick clip of the uncoupling, and to be honest with you, the uncoupling is excellent. And then we'll then do some weathering. As I say, at the moment it is very clean, and hopefully with a little bit of weathering we'll bring it a little bit to life. But in regards to the actual Loco itself, the detail is immense, to be honest with you. The paintwork is very shiny. As I said, I've just said, it's obviously very clean, but the lettering and obviously also the fine detail is very well picked out. The piping, as you can see at the front radiator and some of the under the soul bar there as well, very well picked out. Now I've run this for half an hour in both directions now, so it's worn in, and yeah, runs really smoothly. The stay alive is excellent. It gives you at least a good 5 to 10 seconds of power afterwards. So all in all, really pleased with it. It just needs to have a lot of dirt put on it to make it look a little bit more like an 08 shunter, but yeah, really pleased with it. So it actually has got 28 functions. Some of the functions, because it's a Zimmo, things like fade, reduce or increase the sound is pretty standard, but generally there's pretty much everything that you would imagine on one of these shunters, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically there's a cold startup which is F5 and then the normal startup, or you get a normal startup, straight startup, which will be on F1. You get a toot and a horn, which I'll show you, light engine, idle, various different other side curves, just the standard stuff that you'll see anyway. The only difference with this Loco compared to the standard Loco or even the sound fitted one, this is the sound fitted deluxe one, so it does have that uncoupling facility, which is excellent, to be honest with you, and I think I'll show you a video in a minute where it does that. So we'll quickly go through some of the sounds, but also as well the lights. The lights themselves are really good. So what I'll do is I'll show you a clip in a minute, obviously when it's dark, and you can see that. But anyway, quick going through the startups I should say, sorry. So this is the main startup. So as you can see, that was pretty quick. If we do the cold startup, so there's your startups. We've got a toot, a horn. We've got various different sounders that you would have normally appreciated. I'm not sure. Yeah, it does work. Fuel pumps. We've got some buffer kicks as per standard. Air compressor. which does go on for a bit. And obviously then you've got your curves. Now the one thing which we've got on this one as well, which I've got on the PWM as well, and a couple of the 009 steam locos, is a bit of vocal stuff, which is quite interesting. So have a listen.
I'm going under. Clear to go under.
So when you press it, it says going under, and when you cancel it off, then you get that clear. So again, it just adds that little bit of realism. It could be seen as a bit quirky, a little bit not really required, but as I say, each their own. So that's basically the sound. So what I'll do is I'll switch it on, and then we'll just move it off, and then obviously we'll have some more videos in a bit of it running around. So looking at the radiator end of the OA, standard running lights, you've got 3 lights on the bottom and 1 on the top. And if you go into the shunting mode, as I say, you get a red light and a white light. So as I say, this is the radiator end. What I'll do now is I'll turn it around and show you the cab end. Okay, so this is the cab end. So as you can see, we've got the 3 lights along the bottom and the 1 on top, and also as you can see, you've got the cab light on there as well, and that's switching the cab light off. And as you can hear that clicking, which is quite nice. And then when we go to the shunt mode, as you can see, very, very similar to before. You'll obviously will drop down to that single red and the white one. And then if we then go back to obviously if it's working in the reverse direction, as you see, you get that light there. So the lights themselves are really, really very, very fine. And obviously from a scale point of view, they're excellent. I can't really fault them. They're not like the big lights that you'd see on the mainline locos. They do actually look like the real thing, basically. So what I'll try to do now is I'll just try to see if I can focus on the interior area. Now, it may not zoom in properly, it might not focus, I should say. So just bear with me and see how it goes. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not being able to move it a great deal, but you can really see the definition there inside. And I think they've done a fantastic job, really, when you can see that level of detail. And I think you do see it better, obviously, with the cab lights on. Sorry for the angle. In the dark, because it really does shine through. So all in all, sound, yeah, I think it's pretty excellent, to be honest with you. And the lighting features that you've got on here as well really do set it apart. And yes, it is a lot of money for the uncoupler option as well, but I think it's very well worth it. before we do any weathering, I just want to do a quick close-up so you can pick up all of some of the fine details and some of the actual excellent paintwork that's been done on some of this piping, for example. And as you can see, it's very, very well picked out. The underframe there, obviously, because it's pretty much black and this light's not that great. Let's see if I can move it around a bit. As you can see, it's very well picked out. And some of that lettering is really fine. No major issues at all there. It just looks excellent. And for such a small Loco, it really does capture the look and feel of this particular Loco. So as I say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to weather this one now. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every stage of the weathering. I'll just pick up some certain areas. The other thing I'm going to do as well is that the Model U do a crew for this shunter, but it's actually for the Hornby 08. So I'm not sure how well it's going to work. I think obviously the shunter on the end is going to be okay, but I'm just a little bit concerned about the driver leaning out of an open window where we haven't got an open window here. So I need to have a look inside the cab just to see what I can do about rectifying that. But yes, let's see how we get on. And again, as I say, I don't want to overly weather it, but as I say, it's far too clean at the moment. So let's see how we get on. As mentioned before on some of the other weatherings that I've done, it is always quite important to get yourself a photograph of a particular Loco that you're going to try and replicate. Now, there's not many decent photographs of green 08s in service, especially colour ones. Now this one I found, I think this is a Preserve 08, but it's exactly the same. Obviously it's all green, and as you can see, it's not overly dirty because, well, to be honest with you, you wouldn't have expected it to be over dirty for a Preserve line, because generally they keep it nice and clean. But it has picked up certain areas. You can see like some rust around some of the hinges there and some of that frame dirt. Now I'm going to make ours a little bit dirtier than this, but not a massive amount. So what I've done so far is literally just given it a liberal coating of the null oil, and that just works its way into all of the different joints and crevices to give it that little bit of depth. So that's a start. I'm now going to put a little bit of rust in various areas, then need to mask up the windows and then give it a bit of an airbrush spray over. Now the other thing as well, in regards of the crew, after a little bit of time, I realised it's going to be a very difficult option to try and get in to the cab. There was nothing that was very clear online, and there was nothing from Bachmann which made much sense about how you actually get into that cab area. So I think I'll go with a shunter on the step, but leave the crewman, as in the driver, out for the time being, and then obviously in time, if we find out an easy, safe way of getting in there, then I'll put them in later. With all the spray now completed, I'll move on to do a little bit of washes in a couple of areas. Nothing too much, but it's definitely taken that sheen off of the actual model. Still a little bit of sheen there, which is fine. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. When I was looking at some photographs last night, it did seem that the 08s had a lot of dirt, especially in this area here. So I did try to replicate that, but not overly cake the whole locomotive with the grime. But as you can see, a lot of the lettering is, if I focus in, is actually quite well picked out. The subframe looks pretty good. As I say, I'm just going to put a little bit of washes into that area just to emphasize a couple of areas, but all in all, yeah, quite pleased with it. With the final washes and a little bit of highlighting in certain areas, as you can see now, we're pretty much done. The actual 08 itself is a little bit dirtier than what I was expecting, and to be honest with you, the camera here does obviously lighten it a little bit. It's actually a little bit darker in real life, but to be honest with you, let's just say it's overworked and not very much loved by the Steam crew here at Kingsclear. But yeah, in summing up, excellent Loco. The sound, the lights, as explained before, really, really good. It does actually look like an 08. It sounds like an 08, and that's really all you're after. And I think with that additional little bit of weathering now, it looks something more realistic rather than just something out of a box. So I hope you have enjoyed this little video. Obviously, any comments, please just drop them in. I'll get straight back to you. If you haven't subscribed as of yet, please do. I'll keep you up to date with all of the developments here at Kingsclear Model Railway. And apart from that, I hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you soon.